In a previous video on this YouTube channel, we saw how we could use get and transform to take data that was a bunch of names and then transform it and put it into certain columns so that we had the title, the first name, the last name, and the credential in appropriate columns. In this video, we're going to take another look at get and transform, and we're going to see how we could use get and transform to take data from a word processing document and then get it into certain columns in Microsoft Excel. Let's take a look. So here I am at my computer, and I have a course outline here from one of my courses about Microsoft Excel, and you can see the table of contents for this course outline. Well, when this course goes into video production, I want to be able to have in a spreadsheet something like this, where for each lecture in the course, right, I could track, like where's that course in the editing process. So my goal is I want to take this table of contents right here and I want to translate it into something like this. So here is the course outline with the table of contents, and these are the different sections or modules in the course. And you can see each section or module has a section or module title, and then it has the course lectures beneath it. Well, I want the module name to be over here on the left in a column and to repeat for each of the lectures that are listed within that module. So my goal is to get this table of contents over here translated into a spreadsheet like this over there. And I don't want to do it in a way where I copy this and then paste it down and then copy this and then paste it over, because what if there's like 300 lectures in the course? That would take a really long time. So to do this in a more automated fashion, we're going to use get and transform. So the first thing I want to do is I want to copy this table of contents and get it over into Microsoft Excel. And this is the course outline, by the way, from my Microsoft Excel from beginner to expert course in 6 hours. So if you're interested in taking that class, you could Google Udemy Todd McLeod right there. But the first thing I'm going to do is highlight this table of contents from the course outline. So from the beginning to the end of the course outline table of contents, I'm going to highlight it, then right click it. I'm going to choose copy right there. So right click, choose copy. And then I'm going to use Alt Tab on my keyboard. So now I'm going to go to paste here, and I'm going to look at my different options for pasting. And I want to choose for it to be pasted like that. And then I further want to divide these. I want to put a row between each of the course sections. I'm going to right click on each of the headings for each of the sections and insert a row. So I could do that one at a time like this, or I could select all of the headings at once. So I could click on that heading, and then I could hold down Control on my keyboard and continue to click on headings while I continue to hold down Control. So now that those are all selected, I'm going to right click them and I'm going to choose Insert. So now that I have it looking like this, where each of the sections is standing on their own, I could copy this as text, because I don't want these to be hyperlinks, because if they're hyperlinks and I click them, it's going to take me somewhere. So I'm going to select this entire column, Control C it, copy it, go create a new worksheet right here, and then I'm going to go to column B1 right here, and I'm going to choose paste. I'm going to paste it as values. So I widen my column there by doing that, but now I'm going to take each of these titles for each of the sections. I'm going to drag them right next to the section, and that way we're starting to get this look where we have the module name, the course section name over on the left, and then we have the title of each lecture over on the right. And then when we bring this into get and transform, we're going to be able to get it to get rid of the page numbers, and we're also going to be able to get this to propagate down all the way and fill in. To use get and transform, I'm going to highlight all of my data here. So I'm just going to start at the bottom right and drag all the way up to the top left till it's all highlighted. And once it's highlighted, I click this button right here, get and transform data from table and range. And when that is clicked, this create table dialog box comes up. Is this the data you want to work with? A2 through all of that. That is the data I want to work with. So I'm going to click OK. And get and transform will launch something which is called the Power Query Editor. And when this first launches, that might seem a little intimidating. It's got kind of an intimidating name, but it's actually pretty easy to work with. Here on the Power Query Editor, which is where Get and Transform takes you into the Power Query Editor, just so you have the terminology. We have this Transform ribbon. And on the Transform ribbon, we could start to transform stuff. And so when you look here, we've got this thing called Split Column. So I'm going to highlight a column by clicking the header, and then go to Split Column, and I want to split by like number of characters, right? Because I want to get rid of one character at the end here and 2 characters at the end there. Well, if I go for getting rid of 2 characters, I'll get rid of that number and the space. And down here, I'll just get rid of the numbers. So I'm going to go split by column by number of characters. And the number of characters I want to split by are 2. And look at these options here. Once, I want to do this from once. I want to do this once from as far right as possible. So I'm going to click OK, and my numbers got taken off there. If I didn't like the result, I could come over here, and this is kind of like the undo here in the Power Query editor. You just keep clicking these X's until it goes back to the way it was. Now I'm going to get rid of these numbers here, so I'm going to left click this column, then right click it and choose remove. And then I'm going to do the same thing here with this column there. So I'm going to select column 1. I'm going to get rid of these numbers. And I'll do this one here instead of by number of characters, by delimiter. And the delimiter I'm going to use is space. I'm going to go with the rightmost space, right? So it's going to remove the space right there is the rightmost space. It's going to remove that and split everything on that rightmost space. And once again, it gave me all my numbers, so that looks great. I'm just double checking it. And I'm going to get rid of that column now. So I'm going to go right click it, go in there and hit remove. Now I want to fill all of this stuff down. So I'm going to right click that column, and then in this right click option, right, the menu, you got this thing where it says fill down or fill up. I'm going to fill down, so when it hits the line of text, it'll fill down, hit the next line of text, fill down. And so it just filled all that down. And then I'm going to click on this again. I'm going to go to format. I'm going to choose to make that uppercase. And so now I have everything looking pretty much the way I want. To get back to Excel from the Power Query editor, you go up to the home ribbon and then you just click this close and load. It's kind of a funny name, but close and load, it sounds like something you do out on a gun range. I want y'all to close and load. So you just click this close and load and it takes you back into Excel. So now that I'm back in Microsoft Excel, I could highlight all of this data and I could take it out of this table by just highlighting it, select it. Once it's all selected, Control C, and then start a new worksheet tab down here by clicking the plus button right there. And I could go back up to paste and I could paste as values. But now I can see that I've got things looking pretty close to the way I want them to be. I do have a little cleanup to do here. I'm going to delete the extra rows and spaces to get that all cleaned up. So as I do that, I'm going to play a little bit more music and speed this up. The last thing I need to do is copy my data from here in Microsoft Excel and bring it over to the spreadsheet, the Google Sheet. And I'm using Google Sheets because that's what the team that I work with uses for this project. But you remember this is where we started. And so I have this live worksheet tab here in the Google Sheet. And on that tab, I don't have any of those items listed here yet. But if I go back to Microsoft Excel using the Alt Tab keyboard shortcut and then highlight all of these items that I've now gotten formatted the way I want them to be formatted using Get and Transform. If I highlight all these, press Control C on my keyboard, then go back over to that Google Sheet. I'm going to expand this Google Sheet so we could see it, and then just paste it in right here. It's going to paste in perfectly to match everything that needs to be done for this course outline. The next video I'm going to make for this YouTube channel is going to be also in Microsoft Excel, and it's going to be using the rand between functions, and also the if function and the XLOOKUP function. So if you're interested in learning more about Microsoft Excel and Excel functions, make sure you hit that subscribe button and toggle that little bell so that you're notified the next time this video comes out, and you can continue learning and growing your skill set, not only with Microsoft Excel, but also with all of technology. See you next time.